continue today's events with the first learning session. We are delighted to invite Amani Jarrar, professor at Philadelphia University. Professor Jarrar is also a Jordanian researcher with expertise in foundations of political education, philosophical studies, and public and cultural relations. She will be facilitating the first learning sessions on building bridges for global citizenship education. Please give Professor Jarrar your sincere welcomes.
Good morning or good afternoon. It depends on your place. I'm so pleased to be with you today. I'm a researcher and professor at Philadelphia University. I'll be attending now this conference with you. I believe we are together here to work for our human and planetary flourishing. This building bridges and for global citizenship education is one of the most, I think, prestigious conferences I'm attending. So please accept my sincere gratitude for your gracious presence and contribution to creating a diverse and inclusive and impactful international conference on transformative education. Today, we'll talk about global citizenship education as a transformative and lifelong pursuit, which involves both curriculum learning and practical experience. So we try together to shape a mindset to care for human and planetary flourishing. And if you continue with us, you'll see that we'll talk about all the differences or the bridges to a global citizenship. Let me now share my screen, please, and see if we can together. Can you share my screen, please? Is my screen available to you? Okay. Yes. So I believe we can talk about bridges to global citizenship education, and the international conference here, which spots the light on this presentation, which aims at developing a new vision that will involve shaping the future of transformative education for promoting global citizenship. And this comprehensive vision will undergo the analytical research concept that I worked on for the reimagining the paradigm shift that is involved in the development of global citizenship education. Besides that, this presentation also will focus on investigating the relationship between global citizenship education and transformative education, and the role of universities in that. So I will conclude also with the clear path to redirect the future of education toward a transformative education that is sustainable and responsible and peaceful, democratic also, and collaborative, also prosperous as we hope. And that would be not achieved without global citizenship education. And that's in order to shape the future we want. As you know, education can and must play a decisive role in providing learners across the world with knowledge, with competences, and values to discover solutions of today's sustainability challenges, as we all know. Moreover, in this presentation, I recommend combining the best practices of education to create engaging, immersive learning experiences, and combine global citizenship education with transformative education that can transform our education situations. Now, I would like to share with you this screen. Um, Maybe you can see now with me. Yes, is it clear? Can you see it? Okay. I'll begin with our King um, Abdullah of Jordan, Abdullah II of Jordan. He pointed out education has lately been the subject of heated global debate. And I believe this discussion bodes well since it signifies a widespread awareness of the importance of this issue, and rightly so, since education is key to nation building and improving our world at a time of a global race to realize knowledge economies and invest in human resources. And that was taken from the seventh discussion paper by King Abdullah II in Jordan. And to remind you, with also what Ron Lewis once said, that ensuring quality higher education is one of the most important things we can do for future generations. And Ron Lewis, if I'm sure you know his name, he's a member of the United States House of Representatives. And I do like to also remind you of the words of education, that is, it's not only learning of facts, it's rather the training of the mind to think. That was by Einstein. Now, going back to the education system. So education is the process of facilitating learning, as you know, and the acquisition of knowledge, skills, and values and beliefs, and this is very important, and habits. So educational methods should include teaching, training, storytelling, for example, and discussion and directed research. Now, going to the origin of, as a researcher, I would like to go to the origin of education. And we say that education, or organ, which is the word, which is derived from the Latin word educare, which is to nourish, and educare also, educure, which is to lead forth, and educatum, which is act of teaching. That's from the Latin derivation. So, defining the definition here would be according to Mahatma Gandhi. To remind you of him, he said education is defined as all round development of best in a child, whether talking about physical, mental, social, or spiritual. Now, I think we need here to talk about the university governance. And university governance concentrates, as you know, on different topics. We have the good governance in general. In general, it's about consensus oriented. It's about participation and participatory research and education, and it's following the rules of the law, and the effective being effective and efficient. Also, to make it good in governance, it should be accountable, it should be transparent, it should be responsive and equitable and inclusive. So when we talk about university, I think that here universities, I took universities as an example in governance of education. How should they work? To have best practices, let's say, for bridging inclusive learning strategies, especially when we talk about global citizenship. Now, one of the very important, let's say, challenges that we need to work on is how to develop very important sessions in talking about the global citizenship. Um, when we use this, we need to concentrate on global citizenship education as such, and to know how we can together have the relationship between organizational governance and faculty governance in higher education. So the relationship of organizational governance and the faculty governance, which is standing on a national, this is based on a national study on shared governance. It says that we should work on shared governance and organizational governance and faculty governance, and we focus who will be on who will be on in control. So it's not only we have the curriculum, we have the operations, and we have the operations and curricula together working, and we have to concentrate on both for a shared good governance. Also, to remind you of, we here in this era, we try to concentrate on entrepreneurship education and the role of universities in entrepreneurship. And we have, let's say, four stages. The first stage is the sensibilization for entrepreneurship, and the second one, which is the entrepreneurship education itself. And then we have the third stage, which is education for entrepreneurship, and then education in entrepreneurship. So it's like pre and early and business startup, and then business in operation. And in business here, I refer to education itself for good citizenship and global citizenship. Now, to remind you of how can we work together as researchers on reimagineering higher education, which is the TQM of that. Higher education can adopt the total quality management principles, in which at least four main areas must be met. Just to remind you, first, it's the application of TQM, which is to improve administrative and operating functions, and in general to manage higher education. And then TQM is integrated into curriculum, and then TQM is used in classroom teaching in whatever level we are talking about. And fourth, we have the TQM, which is employed. TQM is employed to manage higher education research activities. To sum it here, we have also the organization, which is the school or the university or any learning institution. We focus on the total quality management as a corporate strategy. Here, I'm talking and referring to my situation, referring to higher education. So it's the organization. We concentrate on continuous improvement and the employee involvement, and we have decision making based on facts, and that would be within an integrated system. So they work all together strategically, so that we concentrate more on the importance of benefits of the TQM in higher education, which is called the HEI. So in modern scenario, as we are having nowadays in our societies, the higher education institutions are forced to implement strategies within a global context. So the total quality management has been described as management philosophy and a way of thinking that has helped higher education institutions to move towards achieving excellence and providing education, and to ensure high quality services and market needs and satisfy the needs of stakeholders. The TQM here must be widely recognized and successfully implemented in higher education institutions. And to adopt the adoption of TQM will be helpful for institutions of higher education for maintaining their competitiveness and in the 21st century, and the most higher education institutions are facing more or less the same problems globally, as you can see nowadays. And to over challenges is very important to compete and to survive and achieve excellence. So through the achievement of various benefits, such as improving the quality of service, of product, which is the learning system here, and education, and reducing the cost and increasing the productivity or the production capacity, and the concept of TQM can be fulfilled. Now, let's revise what we must do and what we need. So, we need to maybe redirect the future of higher education. I'm talking about higher education here as an example. Of course, you can take any level in education here. Towards we redirect it to an education area that is sustainable, responsible, peaceful, democratic, collaborative, and prosperous. So, what must we do? We must shape the future we want, as, for example, higher education can and must play a decisive role in providing learners across the world with knowledge, with competences, not only knowledge, competences, and values, especially when we talk about discovering solutions to today's sustainability challenges.
I'm so sorry, I cannot see the slides.
Yeah, I tried to. I made it. I tried to. I put the share screen. I sent it to you. Maybe you can put it from your side.
Okay, we can
Can
try
you?
that.
Yes. I'm trying also. I'm in slide 15, if you can do it. Shall I wait?
We still cannot see it.
Yeah, I tried to. You can put it from your side if you can, if you want.
So 1 second, we'll try to figure out.
Yes. So I will not try again, right? You will do it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, as we're trying to from our side.
It's okay.
So you can continue, and we will try to
Okay,
figure out
good.
how to.
Good. I'm in slide 15 now. I will continue. So I was talking about how to work on reimagining the concept, which is, just to remind you, is derived from the Latin term, which is again and anew, and engineering is involved, which it is involved, being involved in this design and evaluation and the development and the testing and modification, maybe inspection and maintenance of a wide range of products, structures also, and systems. and imagineering or imagination here, which is the ability to imagine things that are beyond knowledge, and the ability to form systems in our mind of something that have not seen have not been seen or experienced. So this is what we are going to in our future of education and what we seek. So if we want to talk about higher education keystones, we talk about here combining the best practices, for example, of education, in order to create engaging and immersive learning experiences. Also, combining maybe creativity with technical know-how. It's the know-how that is important nowadays, that results in innovative ideas that can transform our educational institutions for the better. You know that although higher education systems are in a constant state of change, they are difficult to for the public and the private sectors, for example, to reform. And for increasing higher education efficiency, we need to work more on establishing mechanisms to coordinate the development of higher education systems, and that is a must. Now, let's go back and talk here about the higher education and how we can work on lifelong opportunities, and that lifelong opportunities that promote economic success, political participation, and other benefits. So there was a study here which was talking about embracing thinking diversity in higher education to achieve a lifelong learning culture and more global citizenship attitudes and values. So the attention here must be drawn to first the need for effective policy structures to manage higher education, and the link of the cost of performance to benefits such as increased opportunities. Also, the link to of to take account of the institutional constraints to change, as well as to carefully articulate educational reform with other public policies that influence the performance of higher education systems. Now, I don't know if you can see this slide together with me. I'm trying again to share my screen. Um, okay, okay, yeah. Now, this reimagining of higher education, it sheds the light on possibilities. So it is to change our options, you have to look at a different perspective. So you change the options by changing your perspectives. So it's either, if you look at it from one side, it's a dead end. If you look at it from the other side, it's an open space you can see. And here you can also reimagine higher education with the possibilities. I'm putting it here. We are talking about the different way of reimagining higher education possibilities, starting from learning to the prototype, which is learning, which is based on analyzing, to the prototype, which is the planning part, to test it, and here we get the feedback. So it's the process here within a circle. It's not a vicious circle. It all starts with leadership, and we design it with different facilities or systems to work on the prototype itself with multifaceted maybe systems, and we concentrate on the systems of thinking. We tested for future and better future informed system, and we keep on learning and developing it by the leaders. So the leaders of higher education, they here play they should play a very significant role in creating culture, which is very essential for its faculty and for the employees, for example, to cultivate the habits, to cultivate the continuous professional development that may affect the culture of this paradigm shift that we are seeking. Um, Now, also the planning must be designed upon deep analysis. It's not on the surface, multifaceted, with smart alternatives as we are having nowadays with you guys, and powered with the suitable, thinking systems, and that must be for always for the future, for vision of future. Now, let's talk more about leadership here, the importance of leadership in higher education. It is being very helpful. It's very crucial also, especially when we work on in this field, and we work on how on understanding the responsibility, how they are responsible for supervising employees. Of course, we are talking here about education employees in the education field, and the staff members helping and supporting, and that all coming for the teaching of the students. And as I said, it's not only the knowledge, it's knowledge, values, and attitudes, and so on. So no matter what your specific duties are and responsibilities, we need also to put leadership skills into practice. And here, when we talk about global citizenship, we concentrate more on leadership skills and its effectiveness in practice, and how to be a good leader that can help in making better future, taking better and major decisions, especially in education institutions that may, when we want to talk about goals to focus on. And nowadays we are all facing not only leaders and citizens of the world are facing and encountering many challenges. So we have to work more on developing our capabilities and qualities that can also make it easier to handle the situation. Now, let's move to the effective leadership in higher education, which is, what do you want? We have leaders that are passionate about higher education quality, and we seek to lead by example for leaders of tomorrow. So it's not enough to have it without working on the effective leadership in higher education, which is, that we all agree that leaders are planners, and they should seek developing strong connections, and we don't you don't forget that they are the data driven. And here the tolerance of to acceptance is very important, because we need to work on tolerance of acceptance, and not only acceptance, and on coexisting and working together in a peaceful way with tolerance. So they should be empowered for their challenges, and we should work together on encouraging also risk taking. I think that when we talk about education for global citizenship, it's good to remind you, I'm sure, that you had a session on this in the morning and the day before, on promoting sustainable development goals. And there are 17 sustainable development goals, and nowadays the UN and the world and leaders of the world are supposed to reconsider the goals, as you know, because we have different things and different challenges coming out nowadays. So we begin with in education, all the 17 goals should be presented in a way that should complete each other to grasp the idea. So it works on the no poverty, which is number one, and then the zero hunger. We have the good health and well-being, and we concentrate here on the quality of education, which is goal number SDG number 4, and the gender equality, of course, which is also related directly with number 4, and the clean water and sanitation, and the affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry and innovation, especially when we talk on entrepreneurship, and the infrastructure, and reduced inequalities. So this is very important in our session here to talk about, and sustainable, cities and communities, and responsible consumption and production, also climate action, and life below water, not only on earth, and also life on land, and the peace and justice, and strong institutions, how to build it, and partnership. I think here we should concentrate in our goal here for having or reimagining higher education, or education in general, for good citizenship. Maybe the main goals to concentrate on and should be studied here in focus and in depth are goal number 4, 5, 10, 16, and 17, because we cannot have good quality of education without taking care of general or gender equality and reducing inequalities in the world. We should concentrate on peace and justice, and democracy and global citizenship, and that cannot be done without and achieved without a good partnership for such goals. So, as you can see, the quality of higher education fundamentally is working on individuals, and working also on education that affects better future, working on income, on employability and health. Also, we should reflect on the national level and the quality of education that is working or positively on economic growth, and of course reducing poverty levels and enhancing more and better, social justice. So this is the tree that maybe we should seed and work on the seeds of it, which is making people healthier, maybe increasing income and promoting, girls and women's rights, reducing poverty, and also the economic growth, and saving children's lives, and fostering peace and global citizenship. And this is the SDG goal number 4, which is, as you can see, ensuring inclusive. This is the goal I'm quoting here from the text itself, which says it's ensuring inclusive and equitable quality of education and promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all. And it said that by 2030, we should ensure that all girls and boys complete free, equitable, and quality primary and secondary education, leading to relevant and effective learning outcomes. And that by 2030, we should ensure that all girls and boys have access to quality early childhood development, which is care and primary education, and be ready for primary education. And in some countries, developing countries, we still have a problem in such details. So we ensure equal access for all women and men, or to affordable and quality technical, vocational, and tertiary education, including universities. And the substantial increase should be for the number of youth and adults who have relevant skills, including all these. And we concentrate here on the entrepreneurship, jobs and decent jobs. And we try in our education system to work on building the bridge from quality education that leads to promote all goals that I just mentioned now, so that we concentrate on shaping the future of education and higher education, promoting sustainable development goals, which is derived from the force of establishing sustainability in general, because we don't want only good citizenship without sustainability. We want them together. We want to concentrate on it, in which is one of the main communication vehicles, as you know, to the basis of sustainability mindset itself. And higher education institutions are viewed, as you know, as a changing agent, which is a catalyst. And we with the SDGs, we are trying to work more on education systems or education institutions, to maybe we need to change or to respond to a world that we are facing now in crisis. So here we go to the higher education as a great responsibility to form our future responsibility leaders and support ambitious SDGs targets. Maybe we have a problem with the targets implementation and the sustainability here, which is working on the essential aspect of institutions and universities' reputation globally that we care for. And we work on together on the drivers for cultural change and the curricula, which should be based on sustainability concepts, and here in our situation on global citizenship concepts. Now, the education, as I said, it's the basis for all achievements. It's the essential contribution for forming a society which is willing to global citizenship, to gender equality, to respect of human rights, and to be more, working on that. You need to work on focus on the key role in social transformation, which is facing the several barriers, which is the curricula, the ethical principles, and also externally, we need to work more on the different types of audiences, political environment, maybe stakeholders, that we need to focus and concentrate more on. Now, this is my area, which is teaching civic education in my country, which is Jordan, and the expected outcomes should be knowing the relevant, as this is according to our Ministry of Higher Education, that it should be, and I'm taking it just as an example, you can think and meditate about your cases in your countries. It is knowing the relevant aspects in contemporary history of Jordan, and such as, for example, we have the Great Arab Revolt, the Emirate of Transjordan, and the unity of the two banks, the Arabization and the Jordanian Arab Army, and so on. So this is part of it. Another part, which is understanding the concepts and the terminology related to the subjects, such as political systems, what is civil society, what are the challenges that we are facing, whether economic, social, political, or whatever, and democracy, concentrating on democracy. And building better, students' personality, we concentrate on personality and manners and habits, and the spiritual, maybe not only the mental and spiritual part, to free them from extremism. So this is our plan, which is my university, Philadelphia University, the civic education and the global. Here, it's not global; it's civics, but I try to teach it in a global perspective, which is introduction of the national education. As I said, we concentrate on the national education, the concept of citizenship, rights and duties, and the concept of democracy and the rule of law. And also we talk about, part of it is geographic and natural resources and so on, and the society. And the third part, which is the historical part, which is civilization and history and modern Renaissance. And then we have how to build our modern, for example, Jordanian state, which is talking about independence, talking about society and better future, for maybe using international alliances and coalitions. And the last part would be the structure of the political system and the constitutional and the authority part. We also have other, let's say, completing parts, which is the civil society and political parties, especially talking about women and political life and political parties. And we have the part which is focusing on internal and external challenges facing Jordan and the world, which is working on reality and solutions. Here, especially when we talk about political challenges, we talk about economic challenges and corruption, and social cultural challenges, and also environmental and education challenges. Maybe the terrorism and extremism part is very important to mention here in our discussion. And we have something which is called a man message. I don't know if you heard about this, which is all based on fighting terrorism and how to be more tolerant. So I'm here referring to one of the very important freedom of education index. Of course, you can continue and work on other parts, which is in a global context in the Arab states, freedoms of education. It is, it mentioned Lebanon and Jordan, for example, as one of the two areas that maybe need to work on in different areas in education here to concentrate. Also from I joined the Rotary Club in Amman, which is we presented one of the sessions talking about development and human development. And if we want to lead this to our discussion, maybe I should not only talk about the development of goals and the sustainable development goals. We should also talk about how to close the gender gap, how to work more coherently on not only human development facets, but also reforming, more reform in the global system and global education. Here we can see the different challenges that we are facing, for example, in Jordan, which is level of general education, maybe the control or the authority of the ministries themselves, and maybe the behavioral training part, which is very important in the educational system, especially when we talk about the teachers and how they have to interact, and how to exceed, the and increase the number of students that are belonging or coming with sometimes we have weak infrastructure. To develop the technology also for changing our educational system, we have many challenges, especially when we talk about online collaboration. And this is very important in case we talk about global citizenship and relations in this. And especially when we talk about civic education and we want to relate it to e-learning in higher education, especially if you remember in the era or in the time of Corona, that virus that affected the whole system of education. So how can we work on civic education, and e-learning also is very important. So the digital, learning and e-learning creation is very, very important, and it's we should analyze this and see if it's coming to the best. And to have an active and responsive leadership and citizenship, we want to concentrate more on education to have successful democracies, depending on the understanding of better understanding of rights and accepting the other. And the concept of citizenship, which is all based on loyalty and belonging, and the building characteristics that should be based in the mindset of the student or the learner, which is the relationship of the individual with the state, and the provisions, understanding the provisions of the constitution of the law, how to work on the citizenship and individual person, with the mindset of homeland and belonging to the universe, on to the global system, the political and morally, values, moral values, in addition to national and international and the basic civic rights, and duties, very important to concentrate on. And not only this, but also maybe to work on the civic education through the e-learning with maybe different classrooms, maybe the Google and the way to implement participation in a better way. Which this is one of the models that was um, uh, presented to have an informed, engaged, and active citizenship, which is based on civic literacy and digital citizenship, the two things that I just mentioned now, and facing on working on a global engagement and the challenges we are facing. And if education is, the way to learning civics and democracy, so we could or should also concentrate on online communities, and also that we are the conference we are attending now. It's part of it. It's about globalization and civic and good citizenship through education. So it's not only schools and universities in the investment through in technology that should be supporters. We support also we should work more on support training grounds for citizens and having online platforms like the one we are having now for having creating better communities for students that can learn and participate in civic education. And to create this, maybe we have to work on online spaces to nurture civic competences and dialogue across differences. So we use compelling content, we build the educator relationship, and we create spaces for sharing, and we work more on allowing students to express themselves and not only to accept, to declare their visions and opinions, and intentionally to solicit diverse participants. This is very important. Now, I would like to go give you an idea about what myself, personally, what I did in this field. I know it's in Arabic here, but here I worked, in addition to teaching, I work on research and publishing books and papers. You can Google me and see in my ResearchGate and Google Scholar some of my publications. In Arabic, I wrote a book on global citizen. And by the way, that was this one. That was the first book and the only book written in Arabic on global citizenship. And I had another book, which is a book composed working on not only sustainable development, but also how to excel in education. So it's educational excellence, because I'm one of the assessors in Queen Rania assessors for excellence, seeking excellence in education system. Also, I worked with about 18 professors, my colleagues, working on civics in education as a model. So we try to work on a book to handle all the aspects of education and civic education that should be tackled in our system and curricula. Also, we had that another book that is specialized more in civic education and focusing on the challenges we have in Jordan and in the Arab world, for example, and in the Middle East. Um, Also, I had a book which is entitled, and it is they are all in Arabic, but I had a little translation of that, which talks about education, but taking it from the moral and the humanitarian angle. So we have this, for example, given this book, this item is taught in the Gulf area, for example, but it's not in some of the countries. such as mine, for example. We have also another book. This is, for example, a description of the national education or the civic education. Sometimes you call it civic, sometimes you call it national education in Jordan, for example, as model. This is a newly developed curricula. So if you can have a look, it's made of 16 chapters. The first one is introducing a comprehensive overview of the national education system, how it should be. Then we go to the personal education of the learner, chapter talking about the family education, and then health education, and how to concentrate on art education. And this is very important, by the way, because art education cannot be taught without relating it to civic education. Also, moral education, this is the part that I just mentioned now, and social education, economic, environmental, vocational, and civic education. This is only, as you can see, which is chapter 11, it's only one little chapter from the whole newly developed national education system. Sorry. Also the political education and the national education. We also had a chapter talking about religious education, because nowadays it's affecting, if people are not relating it or understanding it positively from the spiritual part, they may have clashes with others, and that would turn into extremism. And human education and the Jordanian state, what is it? Now, we all know about the Tolerance Day that was in 16 November, that was celebrated. It all talks about equality, diversity, humanity, and tolerance is the main issue here. We cannot have, it all started in UN, sorry, in with the General Assembly, and the goal was getting educational institutions and the general public to see how tolerance is the staple of society, and without it we cannot achieve anything. So this is what we know in the, if you want to go back now to the World University ranking. We have ranking indicators, different rankings, sorry, and we have indicators. And some of the indicators, if you can look at, it's talking about the quality of education and the quality of highly cited researchers. And we don't want research to be focusing on things that are not very important to the best practices of global citizenship. This is very important. So we want to concentrate on the well-being, on maybe the employability, more maybe on the how it is more visible, how can we introduce better world system, education world system, to help in not only teaching and research, but also in the general development. I don't want to waste your time on the details here. It's the future of higher education that we want to work on, which is working more on the society and the people's lives globally, and how to improve our education system. And just to remind you, we have 7 pillars for future higher education. First, we have the diversity, more diversity and diversity here. We have more relevant for more people for longer, with more options, let's say, and that will be based on digitalization or digitization, and how to be work on greater diversity. And the second one is multiversity, which is multiple disciplines, together we are forming the level of learning to be achieved, not on memorization, as we have it in some countries, especially the underdeveloped, and the new paradigm, which is learning more to focus on global issues, So we go to the ecosystem or ecosystematic, which is the interaction with future higher education and ecosystem in education, and the purpose, to concentrate more on the purpose of the university or of the system, education system, to work on more on the values, which is in this changing world, for better future. So we need to concentrate on the pathways to go to work on the skills, on the abilities, the areas of interest that we have together in this world, the multiple, the augmented learning experience, which is not only digital technologies, but also transforming the role of the teacher, not only the learner. So the seventh pillars here for future education and civic education and global education, it's surviving to thriving uncertainty. So we have new challenges resulting from a changing environment. We want to give rise to leadership with new attributes, such as the digital, mentality and the vision for future, for to be more focusing on facilitating or changing. And here, this is what universities should work on. It's each we strengthen the faculties, the programs, the partnerships, also the need to work more on the learner sets of learners. So the speed of the stage and the speed and the depth of the learner, the breadth of the learner, how the degree of physical versus the digital experiences, and the type of education and the different types of learners that we may have. Also, the global learning. This is one of the very important things that we need to concentrate on: a global learning, and how to have better active and collaborative learners. And we seek this in three dimensions. The first dimension is the physical learner, and which is face to face, and then we have the digital learning, and we have what we need to concentrate on is the phygital, which is combining the physical with the digital, which is more going to the global area or citizenship here, education. And I would just want here to maybe talk about the future of higher education, which is in the report, the last report. It says to create to create better, creative learner cycle. We have processes, and we have different types of spaces and facilities, and we need to drive in what we have as innovative learning. And we specialize our areas of learning and different types of spaces. We concentrate on modern learning. So here are the areas we have meeting areas, especially if we will talk about what the mutual and inspirational one. And we have what we call the discovery zone. And here we talk about the projects that we can launch together. And we have the focus zone, which is to reach the maximum concentration, avoiding any distraction. And we have the change zone, which is discovering new routes and exchanging others with knowledge, and the creation zone, which is the experiments and building and designing and the prototype itself. So here we concentrate more on the steps for strategic planning process for higher education, and to go to global citizenship, which is strategic planning. We intend to have an impact on the theory of change here. We go to work on the context, what should be. So we begin with what we want to do, and then what should be. We work on the strategies by focusing on what we can do through our capabilities, and we focus on the design of the changes here. And
I'm very sorry, we already running out of time, so if you could
yeah,
say
yes. Just to
quickly.
conclude, Yeah, I will. Thank you. So, just to conclude, we have to reimagine here the future of education for global citizenship. So, it's the culture, which is the Drexel 2030 designing the future. It says we have to concentrate on culture of equity, innovative research, powerful partnership, agile curricula, enhanced experience, and empowered students. So it's all on, I believe, the first two, which was culture of equity and innovative research, talking about global citizenship here. And to reimagine, we begin, as I said before, in the circle, beginning from designing, developing, presenting, improving, and evaluating, and reimagining once again to be more successful. And this is what we need here to concentrate on brainstorming. We have no limits. We accept each other. We have the higher education needs identification, and in this situation, we concentrate on which the highest. Just to remind you of Helen Keller, who said that the highest result of education is tolerance. So by this, I conclude my talk here. Hope you find it inclusive, and thank you for your patience and being with us. Thank you.